everybody. Welcome to another Monday Night Live with Teresa Harper. I am an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Oregon in the United States of America. Happy to have you all here. As soon as you jump on, go ahead and comment and let me know you're here. And then we will wait a few minutes and we'll get started. Okay. Let me turn that volume off. Now, hello Elaine. Hello Mary. I was watching Facebook earlier and I was having a hard time getting my comments to scroll. So if I don't see your comment, it's because I'll have to keep refreshing my screen because for some reason they are not scrolling comments. So, okay, Laura, Lynette, now I see you guys. All right. Let me hang on for 1 second. Sorry about that. Thought I would grab my iPad and see if it's going to scroll any better than my laptop. Okay, let's see. I can see the comments here better. And now, hello, Cynthia. All right. Oh, good. Let's see. Okay, now that's scrolling. Let's see what happens. Let's see if we can look at the comments somewhere. That would be really nice. Okay, so tonight we are going to be using the Art in Bloom bundle. And this bundle is a little bit different than anything that we have had before in that when you order this bundle, you not only get the stamp set and the dies, but you also get an embossing folder. And it's not a regular 3D embossing folder. It is a hybrid embossing folder, meaning that not only do you emboss, but you can cut at the same time. So, I'm going to give you some tips and tricks on that tonight. Trying to get my stamps out of the way here. Got them falling over on me. Okay. So let's go ahead and get started. You can find this bundle on page 116 of the current 2021-2022 annual Stampin' Up! Catalog. Okay, so first project. We're going to do a little bit with the first project and prep for the second project. Okay. All at the same time. So for our first project, we're going to start with a piece of, did I use, well, we're going to use polished pink because that's what I took out for this one. So, oh, Melon Mambo is what we're using, I guess. Okay, so we have a piece of, no, this might be polished pink. Yep, that's going to be a problem. Let me get a different card base. I think I used Calypso Coral. Yep, let me cut that card base real quick. No, I still don't think I used that either. Oh my goodness. I thought I had this all together and now I'm a hot mess. Oh, because I put the wrong card base in there. Okay, so I'm going to score this. This is Flirty Flamingo. I'm going to score this at 4 1/4 and then cut it at 5 1/2 so that I will have 2 card bases in one go. Okay, I'll set that aside. So we've got Flirty Flamingo card base. We've got a piece of the new Pattern Party Designer Series paper. This is a host package of paper. Comes with 48 sheets. You get 4 of each. There are 12 double-sided designs. So all in all, you get 24 designs. And you get 4 sheets of each of the 12 sheets. So that's what that looks like. One side is all black and white, and the other has all those fun patterns. So that was just a quick look. Okay. That doesn't want to cooperate. Okay, so we have a piece of the Designer Series paper that has its Misty Moonlight on one side and then the black and white. I can't think of what that's called now. That words have escaped me. All right. So then we're also going to need a piece of basic black cardstock, and I have cut this with the second to the largest of the scalloped contour dies. All right, so I'll give you a quick look at those. So right here, and I've used the second to the largest, and I cut that in basic black. Then you'll need a piece of basic white, which I did not grab the right. Yes, I did not grab the right size for that. Hang on, you'll need a 1/4 sheet. Well, the way I have it set up, you'll need a 1/4 sheet. All right. And then we've got another 1 inch by 4 inch piece of the same Designer Series paper, and that's going to go on the inside of our card, and we have an inside piece, and this is 3 5/8 by 4 7/8. All right, and then you'll need a scrap of soft succulent cardstock, and you're going to cut from the bloom dies 3 of the leaves, and I actually already have those cut. Okay, so let me, here are those dies. So when you're cutting those, you get a die that will cut 2 at a time, and I just cut those in soft succulent. Okay. So here we go. I'm going to start with our card base. We're going to do just a little bit of stamping on it. Oh, thank you for sharing, Jennifer and Elaine. I appreciate that. Hello, Jennifer. All right, good. I'm going to go ahead and close the laptop because it's just not working. And then that's taking up double space I don't need. All right. So we're going to take this piece of the Flirty Flamingo card base. I'm going to put this way so it looks like the My paper has kind of faded on the one side. So of course we're going to put that on the inside. All right. So then with some Flirty Flamingo ink, I mixed up my things, that's why I'm all messed up. All right, that's what I did. Now I get it. I have my envelopes all set and I grabbed the wrong envelope for the wrong project. Okay, so let me grab the correct envelope for this project. Whew. Here we are. I started you on the wrong project. Man, I'm a hot mess. It's been a little stressful evening. All right, so again, there's our Flirty Flamingo cardstock. We still have a piece of that pattern party, but we are using this design. And this piece is cut at 3 by 4. I believe. Let me double check here. 3 by 4 1/4. Okay. Then I have a piece of So Saffron that is 2 by 4 1/2, and I've run this through the brick and mortar embossing folder. And then I have a piece of the Subtle 6 by 6 Designer Series paper stack, and I have this pattern cut at 1 by 4. Okay, and here is the correct piece of basic white. Okay, yay. So let's start by stamping our card base. We are going to take the little tiny flowers and the Flirty Flamingo ink, and we're just going to add a little bit of texture to this. Most of this will be covered with Designer Series paper, so we don't need to get too carried away. Okay, so that's all I'm going to do at the moment. And I'll set that aside. And then we're going to set this aside because we're done with it. Okay, so we're going to grab the large flower stamp, the outline flower stamp. Okay, and we're going to grab the Stamparatus. And because we're using photopolymer, we're going to put our mat in here. I'm going to leave the mat in here, I should say. I store mine with the mat inside of it. And then we're going to take the big piece, the quarter sheet of, actually, so I took the large piece of the basic white, quarter sheet, and I ran it through the hybrid embossing folder. Okay, and I'll show you how that works in just a minute. And that made my template. All right, so I'm going to put my template in my Stamparatus. And then I'm going to place my stamp, my large stamp, inside the cutout so I know where to stamp my flowers. Okay? Any questions so far? Okay. So then I'm going to close the lid and pick up that stamp. and remove my template, and I'm going to put a 1/4 sheet of basic white in my Stamparatus now. And then I'm going to take the find the stamp set. I don't know where I set it down at the moment. Oh, there it is. It's in the wrong tray again. Okay, so we're gonna ink this up with Memento. And then we're going to stamp that down. All right, and we have a good impression. So now we can quickly clean this because I'm going to pull this off of here in a moment. We're going to need it again. All right, so we've got that. This back on our block. So we're going to use it on the block in a minute. Okay. So now we're going to take this piece, and there are filler stamps, 3 of them, 1 for each flower. And we're going to take Flirty Flamingo and stamp 1. I'm going to line that up. It will not, this is an artsy stamp set, so it's not going to fill in entirely. Okay, so we've got that. And then we're going to take some saffron, and we're going to ink that other stamp up. We're going to line that up. Color that in. And then we're going to take the Melon Mambo and fill in the last stamp. Okay, now here my ink pad is a little too inky. So I'm going to grab a piece of scrap paper, and I'm going to go ahead and stamp that off. And then I'm going to grab just a spoon. I have a plastic spoon, and I'm going to push that ink down and away from the top of the pad. And then when I re-ink this, I'll get a better image. Still don't like how that's looking here, so I'm just gonna clean that off. I got way too much on the first inking. Okay. So then we're gonna take ink this one up. All right. I'm going to move these out of the way. Clean that stamp real quick so it doesn't stain quite so bad. If you get your ink off, those darker inks, they won't stain as quickly if you get them cleaned up right away. Just a tip. All right, so now I'm going to show you the embossing, the hybrid folder. So we're going to grab that folder. And this is the embossing folder. And this is the die that fits in the embossing folder. So what you want to do is, where this has the Stampin' Up logo, you want to turn it over and open it up. Then you want to line your stamp up while it's upside down and fit it into the groove that is created for that. Okay? Then I'm going to take this piece, I'm going to flip this over, holding that die in place. It doesn't fall out super easy, but if you're not careful, it will pop right out of there. So I'm going to line this up with the black lines on my die. And then I'm going to run this through my folder, or through my machine. So in order to do this, you have to have the Big Boss. And I forgot to grab the gray plate. Let me grab that. So you need cutting base 1. Then you're going to put your hybrid embossing folder down with the cardstock and the die in it. And then you're going to put plate number 4 over the top. And you're going to run that through. Okay. Now, when we remove this, what we have is an embossed piece with the flowers cut out. And our flowers have some amazing dimension. And as you can see, that die did not just completely flip out. So I'm going to just leave it in there because we're going to use that again. Get these out of the way. And I don't know if you can tell, probably by looking at the back, you can really tell how much dimension is on those flowers. Okay? So while I'm thinking of it, I'm going to grab my Wink of Stella. And I'm going to go ahead and ink up, glitter up my flowers. Okay. Just to give them a little bit of sparkle and shimmer. And I wipe off between colors because if the ink is not completely set, it will pick up on your Wink of Stella brush and transfer to the next project. Okay, so those 3 are ready to go. Now, with this piece, I want to use the leaves out of here, but I don't want to put this entire piece down. So I'm going to take the stamp from the set, the filler stamp, the leaf one, and I'm going to get some soft succulent ink, and I'm going to give that an ink, and I'm going to try and find some leaves that are full, and then I'm just going to stamp over the top and see what we get. All right, and I've got another full one here. I need to turn this around like this. And let's see, that looks like the, well, yeah, it looks like the only full ones I can get out of that. So then I'm going to take, also from that same stamp set, are 2 little leaves here. I'm going to ink up one of these just by inking on the outside edge. And then I'm going to find some of these smaller leaves and I'm going to ink those up. And they aren't perfect. They don't perfectly ink. But it does give you a little bit. All right, so those look like the only full leaves I can get. All right. So now in order to use those, I'm actually going to have to fussy cut these ones out. So I'm just going to go along the raised edges and cut these out just to give a little added dimension on my card and make my leaves look a little bit more like my flowers. And again, I'm not going for perfection here. So nobody's going to be paying that much attention to my leaves. So, just going to cut out these. And I am actually cutting off the part of the leaf that didn't ink. And it still looks like I have a full leaf. So, just a little tip for you if you're going to try this, which I would encourage you to do. Good way to get a little more mileage out of your embossing folder. And add a little bit more dimension to your project. Okay, so we've got our leaves. All right. I think we are ready to start assembling. So we're going to take our card base. Now this particular layout was actually a mystery card challenge that I did. We're going to take and put this piece about here. I'm going to set this piece over here. And a good share of it's going to end up getting covered up. Okay, so let's go ahead and put these down. Okay, either you guys are not commenting or I am not scrolling again. Let me see if I've missed anything. Facebook is so persnickety on what it wants to do when it wants to do it. Okay, we're going to go ahead and put that down. We're going to add this. Along this edge. So, and then we're going to take our So Saffron and we're going to add this just like that. But for this one, because it is an embossing folder and it's a 3D, I'm going to go ahead and use some liquid glue just to ensure that I have good contact with my paper. Didn't get that quite lined up. Let me scoot that bottom over just a bit. All right. So there we are. Those pieces are down. We're getting close here with this. So now we're going to take those flowers and we're just going to audition them on our card. we'll go like this. And then we're just going to stick some of these leaves in here. Like so. And I'm going to put this leaf like this. And we'll put one over here like maybe, whoops. Oh, don't tell me I lost it. It went flying. Landed in my lap, fortunately, where I could find it. Okay, so I think that looks good there. So we are going to put this one down first. And we're just going to do that with a little bit of liquid glue in the center. And by putting the glue in the center, I will be able to lift up to put my leaves in. Okay. Now this one I'm going to go ahead and pop up with a dimensional. Just going to put that right in the center. Kind of like that. And then we're going to pop this one up as well. That down like so. All right, and then we're going to get some glue dots. I can figure out where I put them earlier. Craziness. I literally had them right before I went live. Okay. I'm going to take the tips of these and I'm just going to give that a roll with my thumbnail. Put that up. Put another glue dot on here. Stick that under there. Like so. Give it just a little bit of a curl. Curl this. This in. I'm actually going to stick these together. Make them one. And then I'll stick them down here. So, and one more glue dot will add the last leaf. And our main focal image, which is stuck to my finger, will be complete. Okay. So now what we have left is our sentiment and a little bit of embellishing. Then we can move to the inside of our card. All right. Sorry, I'm sure you can hear that siren. I have the window open because it's a little bit stuffy in my studio. So now we have a piece of, where did I put my little envelope with my pieces? Okay, we have a 1/2 inch. Actually, this is 5/8. 5/8 of an inch piece of basic white. And with this, we're going to stamp the sentiment, "Thanks for making me happy." And I'm going to do that in the Memento, just to tie in everything. We're going to stamp that right down here, hopefully straight. Beautiful. And then we're going to trim this off. Actually, I'm going to see if I can. Excuse me. My plan was to see if this would fit right in here, and it will. So we're going to grab the mini boss. And we're going to run this through the machine and die cut out our sentiment. Just going to line that up. I'm going to move that machine for a second. Line this up. Grab a piece of Post-it tape. So it doesn't move. Well, it won't move if I don't move it with my finger. All right, so that should be good. Let's put our top plate on and we can run that through. All right. Let's see. I'm going to go ahead and refresh my screen here real quick. See what that does for comments. I still have the last comment as I shared from Elaine, so if you guys are writing other comments, I'm just not able to see them. Okay. So there is our sentiment, and we're going to just put that right down here. Well, should we just... I don't know. What do you guys think? Should I put it there? Or do you like it down here? I'm going to give you just a minute to let me know on the flower or down below. And I'm going to grab some Stampin' Dimensionals. Okay, Cynthia says bottom. Anybody else want to share in? Below, below. Okay, it looks like bottom wins. So I'm just going to put 3 dimensionals. So we don't want a saggy middle on our sentiment. And we'll place this at the bottom. Center it in there. All right. And our last touch on the outside is to add some of the black matte dots. And I'm going to use the smaller ones, and I'm going to center them in my flowers over here. And I've got a flower right there I can put it in. And then we'll just, I think we'll take one of the larger ones and maybe put that right there. But I feel like we're going to need to put... I'm having a hard time getting this to come off. We'll put another one right here. And then we have to have an odd number, so we're going to need one more. So let's go. Just stick one right. Yep, we're going to go with that. Okay, so there's the outside of our card. That's finished. So for the inside of our card, we're going to take that 1-inch piece of the... Oh, wait a minute, not on this card, we're not. I got myself all confused by having the wrong packet to begin with. Okay. So let's get the inside of this card. Here's our inside. We get our Stampin' Pierce mat. And we're going to get that image again, our 3 image. I'm going to put some scratch paper down to keep my surface clean here. And then we're going to take this top one here because it separates quite nicely and it's easy to ink up by itself. And I'm going to take my Memento ink, and now that I said it's easy to do by itself, of course it's not going to do it for me today. Got that good. And while we're at it, we're going to grab our envelope too, because we're going to do the same thing for our envelope. And we're going to grab a little rag, because I got a little bit of excess black ink, and I'm just going to wipe that away, just to ensure I don't get ink where I don't want it. And then just going to stamp that right down in the corner. And then I'm going to repeat that with my envelope. All right. Just a touch of ink there. So we're going to take this, put it down here in this corner, and then we'll grab the coordinating fill-in, and I'm going to take So Saffron. I'm just going to fill that in. And fill that in. Okay. Then we can take some Stampin' Seal. And place this on the inside of our card. And our envelope is complete as well. Oh, wait a minute. I was going to take this and take the Flirty Flamingo ink again. And take these 3 little flowers that also come in the stamp set that we used on the outside, or for a little bit of texture. And we'll just put those on the flap. All right, so there is our first card. Wow, that took a long time. Sorry, guys. Sure didn't seem like it should do that. All right, Okay. I think that's everything that I used. Can get this out of the way. All right. So I'm not going to use all of these stamps on our next one, so I can get them out of the way. Okay. All right, so let's move on to card number 2. Grab out our supplies for that. And this is the one that we are using. We're going to use polished pink. For our card base. Let me grab these out of the way. I don't need those. All right. So for this one, we're going to start with a polished pink card base. And again, that is 5.5 by 8.5, and we're scoring it and burnishing it at 4 1/4. And it doesn't look like I got this score quite good. Get it very deep. And oh. We had a little bit of a hot spell, Elaine, and I spent a lot of time on the deck with the grandkids playing in the yard. So the only thing that's really tanned is my arms. All right. So we don't need that. Okay. So for this one, then we're going to take this piece of the Pattern Party Host DSP, and that's going to go right there like that. And then we're going to take the Scalloped Contour dies, which, as I mentioned before, was the second to the largest, which is this one right here. If I can pop it out of the... Okay. And then I've pre-cut 3 of those flowers, which came out of my template that I made. So I've got 3 of those, and I've already got them die cut, so you won't have to watch me do that. And then I also die cut 3 of those leaves. We're going to use those. Actually, I have 4, but we're only using 3 because they cut 2 at a time. All right. Now, if you just want to cut just the flowers, you can use a much smaller piece of cardstock. And really, all you have to do is put this in the center and just make sure that you're covering up your die, and then you are good to go. Okay, so for these, we're going to do a little bit of inking with some sponge daubers. So we're going to grab our sponge daubers, and we need a Highland Heather, a polished pink, a pale papaya. Whoop, that's not polished pink. Polished pink, pale papaya, and then the Highland Heather. Okay, and I have daubers for all of my colors. You can find those in the annual catalog. Okay, so let's start with, oh, the other one I need is Daffodil Delight. I also need that dauber for the centers. Okay. So we're going to set this aside, and we're going to start with our Highland Heather. We're going to ink this up. And I'm going to grab a scrap piece to protect my surface, and I'm going to wipe off the first bit, And then I'm going to very, very lightly swipe out from the center, trying to avoid the center. And okay, and when you're happy with the result, set it aside. And then we're going to move to Pale Papaya. Okay. And we're going to do the same thing. Very, very lightly swipe out from the center. And remember, you can always put more color on, but you can't take it off. So it's best to start light-handed. Okay, and I'm happy with that. Then we'll move to Polished Pink. And this one is a really dark color, so you really want to be careful. So we're going to just barely touch. And you notice how I turn my flower as I go. Okay, and I'm happy with that one. Now I'm going to fill these centers in with the Daffodil Delight. I'm going to ink up my, and I'm just going to very lightly touch the center. Very lightly. And there we are. So now my flowers are ready for my card. Set those daubers out of the way. Okay. And then we can start the assembly. Okay, so we're going to take some Stampin' Seal. And we're going to add this piece to our card base. Centering it up as best we can. We're going to add some Stampin' Seal to the scallop contour. And I'm going to center that up. Be sure not to use the lines on this particular designer series paper because they are not straight. Oh, I need to put this up. Nope, I did have that the way I wanted it. I have a little bit of an indentation in my black piece here that I want to cover with the flowers. Okay. So again, with the Wink of Stella, I want to put some little bit of sparkle on my flowers, just to give it a little something something extra. Okay, And if you find you're not getting enough Wink Estella, go ahead and give it a squeeze. Whoops. Oh, look how I handled that. Good. So at least I had that in my hand, so I didn't get anywhere on my project. Now I'm going to have Wink Estella everywhere on my fingers. Let me wipe that real quick. I gave it a little bit too much of a press. Okay, so now I'll need to be careful because this is rather wet. Notice how I'm doing my wink in the direction of my petals. That way if it drags any of the ink, it drags it in the direction of the petal. Okay. So I've got a lot more wink on that one than I did on the others. My brush was a little bit on the dry side. Okay. I'll just give that a quick second coat. All right. And then we're going to poke out pieces of our leaves. 3 of these. They're all cut. They just didn't all fall completely out. So we'll just give them a quick little poke. I could run my dye brush. Okay. Okay. So again, I'm going to grab that Wink Estella, but this time I'm going to grab a scratched piece of paper because I don't want that wink all over my desk, and I'm going to make sure I have the right side up, and I'm going to run some Wink Estella all over my leaves. Just so they sparkle. And I don't necessarily need to go all the way to the bottom because they're going to get tucked under. All right, so we'll set those aside. And now we're ready to put this all together. So again, much like the other one, I'm just going to put these down. I'm going to keep them on my black piece. And then I'm just going to stick my leaves. Under here. And okay, so let's go ahead. We'll put this one down. Glue in the center. Stick that about right there. Then we're going to put this one down next. Put that one kind of like that. Get those dimensionals. I'm going to pop this one up. And pop this one up. And then we'll grab those glue dots. just need to make sure that I keep the end of my leaf inside the boundary of my card so it'll fit in the envelope. We'll stick that one right there, and then this one here. All right. So there is our card. Now with this one, I did not put a sentiment on. I'm going to leave that for another day when I know what I want to use this card for. So we're going to move on to the inside. So for this one, I'm going to take that little piece of designer series paper that we had cut and figure out where I put it. Oh my goodness. I had it right here a minute ago. Right here. Okay, there we go. Now with this one, I took a bit of polished pink. And, oh, hang on, it got dark. I'm going to turn this light on. All right. I'm going to take a bit of polished pink and grab out our scrap paper again and our designer series paper. Again from that pattern play. And I'm just going to take a little bit of the polished pink and my blending brush. I'm going to start off my piece and then I'm just going to roll it in. Okay, and that's all there is to it. Now I've taken and colored my designer series paper so it's not completely black and white, but has some polished pink. And then we're going to put this at the bottom of our card here. And I like to take and put my glue on my cardstock so I know how far to go. Because I have this piece cut just a little bit bigger than the cardstock. Okay, open that up, and I'm going to take my scissors. I'm going to trim that off so that I have nice even edges. And then I pre-did a flower for the inside to put down here, and I'm just going to take and glue this in and put it down. And again, I'm leaving the inside of my card blank so that I can use this for whatever occasion I might need. Because this could easily be a sympathy card, a thank you card, a birthday card, a just because card. So we're going to take and add that to the inside of our card. And I'm going to add some Wink Stella just so it matches. Okay. And there we are. There's card number 2. And again, for the envelope on this one, we're going to take that large stamp again. I'm going to ink it up in Memento Black. Oh, wait a minute. Yep. Okay, and we'll wipe off that excess because we don't want that on the corner of our envelope. Okay, so just a little wipe. Again, down in the corner. And then I'm going to take those tiny little flowers and I'm going to put them on my flap. And let's add a little bit of color to the inside of our flower. Oh, where is, let's see, there that stamp is. Let's clean it because I can't remember what I have on it. And we're going to take I'm going to actually take Pale Papaya and fill this one in. Okay. There we are. Two projects completely finished for you. This is the card we just made. And this is the card we made earlier. Okay, thank you guys. Oh, Elaine, it's such a fun set. I think you need it. It's so different than anything we've had, and you can do so many things. Now, keep an eye on the blog or on my Facebook page because I do have a bonus card that I made right before I went live. That I will be demoing later this week when I can get a chance. We've got some things going on, so I'm not quite sure how that's going to work this week. I'm not sure where all the doctor's appointments and things are going to land up, so I can't make any commitments. So we'll see you later this week with the bonus card that I have made already with this set so that you'll know that there are 3 different fun ways that we can use this. All right? Okay, everybody. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it. I appreciate all your support. Be sure and share the video if you'd like it. And give me a thumbs up or some hearts. And I will see you later this week, if not again next Monday night at 7:45. Thank you. Have a good week. Bye-bye.